Hello everyone, Ron from HEISTMAN'S Hit the Road. Welcome to our channel. Join us camping at a gracious harvest host called Barbour Farms, located in Halstead, Pennsylvania. There we discover a problem that puts our truck in the shop and delays our departure. Jacki and I are excited you're here. The adventure begins right after this short introduction. So we just bugged out of Brennan Beach. Didn't have time to get any bug out footage because we were running a little bit late. We went to dinner at Jacki's folks last night, so we were running late. We had to basically do everything this morning when we would normally do a lot last night. So anyway, we're heading down to Barbour Farms, just over the border of New York into PA. And it's a farm and it's a harvest host, and we'll see you then. So we're just north of Binghamton, rest stop. The state police are doing truck inspections here today. Beautiful area down here, southern New York, along the I-81 corridor. Once you get around the Cortland area south, even Lafayette south, it's pretty nice. Beautiful day. Glad to have you along. Well, I missed a turn, so RV Life GPS told us to turn here, trying to turn us around. And as you'll see, yeah, we opened up a can of worms coming down into here. But if you didn't notice, before I turned, heading our way in the opposite direction was a school bus coming down that road. So taking this right-hand turn, the way, RV Life GPS told us to go, so we can loop back around and reverse direction on the main road, back to where we missed a turn, you can see that school bus had come down the hill, made a left-hand turn, and is now dropping a child off at his home. Well, there's no way we could back up here, and we had no place to go. So I was hoping she could pull over far enough, because it's a female driver, not that it matters, it really doesn't matter, but I was hoping she could pull over far enough for us to get by. There's a ditch on the right-hand side. I cannot go off into the grass at all. There's very little shoulder and there's a ditch. So we have to try to squeeze by this bus. She's coming forward, getting over into the bushes there. We're over into the lawn. And we're going to have to try to squeeze by her, which we eventually do. As if the situation wasn't bad enough for me missing the turn and having to turn around. The timing of the school bus and us being on this road at the same time, it's kind of crappy. But it happened. We squeezed by. As you can see, we're squeezing by. And then we make our way out of this situation. You can see a steamroller, or I say steamroller, you can see a road roller up ahead. I think if I was a bus driver, I would have backed up into this wide area down here. There's plenty of room down here to get out of the way. She would have just had to back up and kind of stay to what you see on our left. There's some, there's a building over here with overhead doors. If she could have backed up and stayed to the left, I could have got around. I could have came down and just looped up, and then she wouldn't have had to have got into the bushes. But that's the decision she made. I'm glad she got out of the way. She helped us out. We got around this corner, and we got up to the main road. We banged a right, and took us back to the road that I missed. So. So this is Barbour Hill Road. It's at least a half a mile from the turn up this road to where we parked in the Harvest Host. Some of the grades were 9%. There were a couple others that were 7 and 6, and I think we had at least a couple of 8s too. But it's uphill all the way, and as you can see, it's dirt road, gravel road, and it's very dusty. Max, our truck, and the Duramax engine did its job and pulled us up here really effortlessly. We had the transmission in automatic. The 6-speed Allison transmission kept the truck in low gear, and we just, we took our time getting up the hill. We weren't going very fast, of course, because cars were coming down, as you see here, and we had to get over a couple of times, and you can see the dust that's kicked up by automobiles. That car is actually a person that worked for the harvest host, and she turned around and followed us back up to the farm where we stopped. Hi.
You're going?
No, he said past the farm and that somebody would meet us.
Okay. You want to follow me up?
Sure.
Perfect.
You don't mind if I record, do you?
No, you're
Good,
fine.
go ahead.
It's right up here, and
To the right?
yeah, so you're gonna go up the road, and it's gonna pull in some. So most campers pull in, and then they back into the spot. That's my best advice.
Okay.
So if you can pull up more and then figure out what you want to do.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
But yeah, most people pull into the quarry road and then back into the spot.
Okay, and what's your name?
Carmen.
Carmen. Hi, Carmen. I talked to, I think, Kim and Jim on the
Kim
phone.
and Jim, yep.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Carmen.
Yeah.
We'll see. If we got any questions, we'll call,
Yeah, we can spot you if you'd like.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, just make sure I'm put in the right spot.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Hi. Oh, looks like I see what's going on.
Yeah, you pull over here
Yeah, and then
and back into the trees.
which is going to be tough because you got to get it straightened out and around.
Yeah, because of those trees there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want us to park right here?
I think so. Pretty sure. I don't
Oh,
know.
there's a little fire ring there. I'm going to go look. Okay. We backed in, set up, and dusted the camper. So we're safely at our next destination. It's a harvest host in Halstead, Pennsylvania. It's called Barbour Farms. We just picked up some bacon and some ground beef. They have their own beef cattle, and they also have milk cows, and they do sell raw milk, which I didn't partake in, even though when I was a kid I used to drink it. My grandfather's farm. Anyway, yep, we're on the generator. We're here overnight. Tomorrow we're supposed to head off to Hershey, and it was quite the steep ride up this gravel road to get up here. You have to go past the farm, and they put us in up here off the main road, and Barbour Hill Road is what it's called. And you can see back in here, I'm going to take a walk. I've already seen 2 deer tonight, so I'm going to take a walk around dusk up in there and see if I can see any more deer. Well, we got a little problem here. Max has a vibration, making me think maybe drivetrain or something. It's blah, 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 so I have to figure that one out. Hope we don't get stuck here. Supposed to be in Hershey tomorrow. We'll figure it out one way or the other. It's part of the business. Hi guys. Having dinner? Hi. Barbour Farms Harvest Host, they offer their own meats, beef and pork, and like I said, raw milk. I went ahead and purchased a couple of pounds of bacon. This one's defrosted. This one's still frozen. We're getting ready to, partake here. And a sleeve of ground beef. In appreciation for letting us stay there, of course. And we'll let you know when we go ahead and feast on these. We will let you know what we thought. But they keep them frozen in industrial freezers. They're packaged by FDA approved butchers, and they're all vacuum sealed as well. So, all right, we'll let you know. Here, a bachelor group of bucks were hanging out in the upper meadow. And here, a group of doe were hanging out in the lower meadow. Alright, so we've spent the night here, Barbour Farms. It was comfortable. We had the generator on all night. When we went down to get generator gas yesterday, the truck was still shuddering. And I'm going to call it a shudder. I've done some research. It's probably caused by the torque converter slipping. We've called around. I wanted to try to find a dealership to stop at, Chevy dealer, to stop at on the way south, because we're heading to Hershey. But we have to backtrack into Binghamton, New York, so about 30 miles away. We've already talked to the harvest hosts. They have no problem with us leaving this here as long as we need to. Maybe if we have to leave the truck up in Binghamton, they'll give us a loaner, or we'll get a rental or something. We can still spend the nights here. Problem is, I only put 11 gallons of water in the tank, so we're going to have to figure that out. So we can't lose the freezer. We have stuff in there, so I'm going to make sure that I switch over to the full tank of propane so we don't run out. Don't need that happening. And yeah, I don't know how long we're going to be here. Probably going to have to call Hershey and tell them we've been delayed. We're supposed to be meeting friends there. We'll let them know as well. So it is what it is at this point, and we're going to roll with it. Got to be flexible. So we called around at a 30-mile radius, and the only place that would take it is Butnick's Chevrolet in Binghamton, New York. So we had to go back north, back into New York. It took about 30 minutes to get here, so they're taking it right in. We told them we're, residents of Florida. We're towing a camper. Luckily, the host at the harvest host is allowing us to leave the camper there, so we didn't have to tow that down here. So we already pulled Max in. They pulled it in further, and we'll see what's happening. Hopefully it's just a vibration, something out of balance or something, and not a torque converter shudder or a problem with the transmission. But it seems to be in the drivetrain, speed related. If you're under. There's Max. There he goes. Must have went all the way around with him. Okay. If you're putting it under torque, it seems to be different than if you're just coasting. So I'm taking Max for a test drive right now. We're waiting. We'll see. Been here, I don't know, about 40 minutes, probably 45 at the most. We'll see what happens.
You know what's messed up? We had to take the defensive driving course.
I don't know if you can see it, but there's a broken belt here. It's horribly humped right there. Guy says he's never seen one that bad. So that's probably what's going on. And when I checked these tires out, they must have been on the bottom because I looked for all that stuff. So he's looking for tires right now. Probably going to put a whole set of them on. These are getting down. They have some wear left on them, but they're still legal. Can't run that one. Yeah, look what's happening already with that. Yeah. So, Max and the vibration. Found that one wheel with broken belt and decided not to go with just 2 rear tires, that we'd get 4 all the way around. Look for some highway tread, less aggressive than we had, but they couldn't get them until Friday, and of course it was Tuesday and we were headed to Hershey that day. So we settled for Goodyear Wrangler with Kevlar. Max has 4 new sneakers. The ride was great. We headed to Hershey, and made it just fine. We got there after dark. That'll probably be at the end of this video or in the beginning of the next video. So these are what we put on. They're Goodyear Wranglers, Kevlar. They say they have 60,000 mile tread life. And I've actually owned these tires before in a GMC I had before we bought this truck, so I know they're good tires. Going online and going on YouTube and looking for a vibration issue, what it could be, it felt like a balance thing, or maybe a bad U-joint, or it was drivetrain related, and I said that several times. But when I went online, it started talking about a transmission, well, not a transmission, but a torque converter shutter. Now, when we're towing once in a while, it seems like Max will, we'll get under load and he kind of lurches, and some people call that chucking, but to me it was like I just back off on the throttle and ease back into it, and to me it was more like a transmission thing. I just didn't know where it wanted to be. But the people online were saying that's a torque converter shutter. And, I figured, holy crap, I've been basically ignoring that problem. And now we've really got a problem with the torque converter. So I guess it's like going on WebMD. You become a hypochondriac, once you look it up. So the simplest things are usually the answer. And, the broken belt took care of the problem. So we're real happy about that. We really want to thank a few people here for helping us out with the issue on travel day. Botnick Chevrolet for taking Max right in. When they heard our situation, they took us right in. They took care of us quickly. Thank you very much to Botnick Chevrolet, Binghamton, New York. We also want to thank the harvest host, Barbour Farms in Halstead, Pennsylvania, for telling us over the phone when I let them know our situation that we might not be able to leave that day. They said, stay as long as you need to. Take care of the problem. Don't even worry about it. They took the stress of that right off our shoulders. That really meant a lot to us. We were able to leave it there knowing it would be safe and there wouldn't be any issues when we took the truck back up to Binghamton. Okay, and finally, we got to where we are now, which is, Thousand Trails Hershey in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, well after dark. And we had friends here. You've heard us talk about these friends before. Kurt and Melody of RV Plus 3. They were over in our site with flashlights, bright flashlights, helping us, get in, because these parks are dark at night. And, backing into a strange site, and it was a back in, at night, I'll tell you, it was a godsend to have them here and help us out. So thank you, Kurt and Melody, and thank you for their son Marcus for letting them come over. I wanted to, thank these people because these situations are very stressful. It's really the first time we've had issues with Max, the truck, on travel day. We've been very lucky. We see all the time on YouTube that people often have issues with their truck while they're towing. And knock on wood, jiggle the camera. So glad that we don't have them often, and that this one ended up being not so complicated. I did go down a rabbit hole after looking online, thinking it could be a torque converter shutter. All the while, saying, it feels like a vibration, it's speed related. Well, there you go. We have 4 new tires on the truck, like you already know, and she's riding like a dream. Let's put that behind us and move on. Safe travels. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please like and subscribe. And also, click on the bell icon. That way you'll be notified when new material hits our channel. From Rohn and Jacki at HEISTMAN'S Hit the Road, have a great day, and thanks for watching.